beautiful people. Tiana Louise here from Worth a Read, back with another pick a card reading for you guys to look at what dominant energy or what energies are at play in your life right now. The energies that are running in the background but controlling everything that shows up in the foreground of your life. These may be things that you are not even aware of, but they show up as repetitive patterns, behaviors, thoughts, and you may be wondering, like, or asking yourself, like, why am I feeling like this? Why am I always doing this? Why is this always happening to me? And more importantly, how do I change it? So before you can know how to change it, you first got to know what it is. And so this reading will look at the archetypal energies that are driving things in your subconscious mind, but showing up in your physical life. Okay? So what you'll do, as I bless the space, is choose card number 1, 2, or 3. Focus, tune in, and see which one is calling out to you. Maybe there's more than one, maybe all 3. But then once you do that, we'll jump into the reading. Of course, I will put the timestamps for you below so you don't have to sit through all the readings. You can just jump right to yours and we'll get started. So if you chose card number 1, what I did was put together the start to the reading based on the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck that I just bought. And the reason why I'm doing this reading is I'm using decks that I just purchased. I thought this would be a good way for me to get to know these decks. So what I'll be doing is, reading descriptions or, from the guidebooks from these decks that I'm not familiar with. As well as offering intuitive messages. So I'll be doing that with the archetypes deck because I just got this one, and the meanings of the card, the descriptions, the author put a lot of thought into creating these meanings, and there's just so much meat in there that I want to share with you. So if you chose number 1, let's see what came out. All right, so the eternal child, I love this because this is telling me that a lot of inner child energies are at play for you right now. But when we say eternal child, what I'm feeling connected to is that you are a child at heart, and you're very much connected to that energy of just, either you are or very much wanting to be or understanding the importance of being connected to that lighthearted, free-spirited, childlike self that lives in each and every one of us. For others of you, this could look like the understanding that no matter how big we become in our bodies, inside, we're still all, on some level, children, and dealing with, issues from our childhood and things that, have hurt us and wounded us. A lot of psychologists say that there's a certain age you come to between the ages of 8 and 16 where you kind of, in some respects, you stop, and that becomes your set point. So you could be 30 years old and still very much living your life from the sense of your 12-year-old self, when something traumatic or dramatic, shifted for you at that point, and you began to see the world through a very different lens based on things you made up in, your child mind. So I'm definitely seeing, because what came out with the therapy flashcard that I pulled in connection with this archetypal energy is coping mechanism. So what I'm hearing here is that, sometimes we tend to use our ability to be childlike, playful, aloof, detached, a lot of the elements of a child, we tend to use that as a way of coping with things that don't feel good to us, or things that may be too heavy for us to deal with. We may revert back to being like a child. And so we may show up as, or other people may see us as showing up as immature or unaware, not paying attention like that. And, this could be, like I feel like the eternal child is not, a bad thing, but it can turn into something that does not serve us when we're using it as a way to cope and avoid things. So let's see what the definition on this card is of coping mechanism. It says it's learned ways, conscious and unconscious, which enable the individual to get through emotionally stressful situations and maintain internal consistency while adjusting to or living within a particular environment. It's characterized by unvarying behavior in varying circumstances, childlike shutdown during stressful moments, odd but consistent reactions to certain situations, inability to handle emergencies, internally consistent life views that cleave from reality, traumatic life background masked by seemingly high levels of function. Right? So what I'm hearing is, certain things may happen and you may, react a certain way. Maybe you tantrum. Maybe you shut down and stop talking, give people the silent treatment. Maybe things you learned to do as a child to protect yourself are still very much driving the conversation in your life today in terms of the way you interact, communicate, behave with other people, and just handle life in general. So I want to see, I'm going to pull from the Soul Journeys Lessons card, just see if we can get some running themes around this, and then we'll pull from the tarot. So we have love, imagination, and purpose. And so what I'm getting here is there may be a feeling of a lack of love in your life, feeling like life may not have much meaning and purpose without a love that you want. Maybe there's a lost love. Maybe you lost a loved one. But it's really shut down the perspective and the way that you're able to visualize and see love playing out in your life or as a function of your life, and the way that you've been able to deal with this and cope with this is by reverting back to or having to deal with some of the inner child shadow work that's required, that's being required for you to move through it. But I'm getting that it's really painful. It's been really painful. It's really shut down the way that you see possibilities for your life, and that you've kind of cocooned yourself into this perspective of not being loved. And because of that, you feel like there's just really not much purpose for you. So what I'm seeing here is that there's something coming up around feeling love for oneself, love from other people, that is causing this like reverting to happen, this defense mechanism, coping mechanism, to where you show up as, in some way that you did when you were younger, a child. And it's like when this happens, you lose your way. You get disconnected from your purpose, who you really are, and your perspective, your perception around things becomes very limited with this imagination card. And so your soul is, journeying you through these experiences as part of a lesson to help you through this. So I'm going to clarify this with the Tarot of the 1001 Nights to see what else or what we can add to this. So we have the Death card. Yeah, transformation. This is definitely something that needs to be transmuted, along with the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. Yeah, it's time to really move away from this energy. It's heavy. It's weighing you down. It really gives you a skewed perspective of life, and like it's almost like it's like, what's the point? Is kind of what you get to when you're in this energy and you just don't feel like dealing with anything. Like the Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing energy, and so what I'm getting here is a feeling like of feeling like you want to be nurtured, like you want to be mothered almost through this energy. And when that's not happening, it's like you feel lost, right? But the good news is, with this Death card and the Six of Swords, I'm seeing there's some transformation taking place. Like there's potential of you coming out of this, like and maybe you already are, like moving out of whatever these choppy waters are that puts you into this, and moving towards more calm, peaceful energy, right? Being in finding a way to not avoid or run away, but really nurture yourself through this. That's what I'm getting. So what's the advice? Like, what is Spirit telling you to do, or asking you, inviting you to do, to help bring this along? And actually, before I pull that, I'm going to pull one card from the Whispers of Healing, just to see what it is that, needs to be healed, because I'm feeling that there's some sort of wound here. Ooh, and it popped out. Look what popped out, guys. Nurture. Yes, there's this desire, this strong desire to want to be loved, to want to be nurtured. And when you feel like that's missing, then it's like all hell breaks loose, and you shut down. So I want to read from this because I just got this Whispers of Healing deck too, and with all that green on there, I'm definitely feeling like there's a need to do some heart chakra work, really work at opening up your heart to yourself in these situations, right? The best love that we could ever give or receive is the love from ourselves, no matter what's going on. And that's how this description for this card starts off. It says, no matter what's going on in your being, it is vital to nourish and nurture yourself. This may mean learning how to listen to your needs. This card is asking you to balance the attention you give to the people and situations around you with the attention you give to yourself. This balance will help you make healthier choices for yourself. Yeah, and so that's what I'm getting. Like there's this lack energy of like, not enough for me. Where's the love for me? And really it's, where's the love that you need to give to yourself? All right. And so 3 cards just came out for advice. Proceeding softly. My inner power grows in moments of quietude. So, in these moments, it's really an invitation for you to get quiet, for you to go within, spend some time alone, and really listen to your thoughts. Here's the second card for guidance that came out, hearing messages from Spirit. I am a clear channel for messages from Spirit. And so really going within and listening to what the divine is, offering to you in those moments. Really listening and tuning into your own spirit to hear what it is you are wanting in those moments. Is it a hug? Is it a kind word? Is it just to calm down, be alone? What is it? There's a song that keeps coming to my mind called Encourage Yourself. It's a gospel song, but it talks a lot about how, sometimes we're looking to the outside world, but when, things really get gritty, when things really get tough, when we get all torn up inside, the best thing that we could do is, and sometimes the only thing we can do, is encourage ourselves. And in doing that, I love this last card that came out, believing in magic, like really believing we have the power to heal ourselves, believing that everything we seek on the outside is actually already in us on the inside, and everything outside is just a manifestation of that. To do that, we really have to believe in our co-creative powers with the divine, with spirit, with the universe, with, God, source, whatever you choose to view it as. And so, yeah, I think that's, the message here, being aware when this energy shows up, and then going within to clear it and really deal with it versus avoiding it and putting up our defense mechanisms to cope with it. All right, so that's your message if you chose number 1. Let's move on to number 2. Okay, if you chose number 2, the main energy running in the background of your life right now. Ooh, the empty room, a void. Oh my God. And look, the therapy flashcard that came out with it. Shame. A momentary or pervasive emotional state comprising embarrassment, humiliation, mortification, and disgrace caused by the belief that one has acted dishonorably, inadequately, or inappropriately, or that one has been rejected, ridiculed, or exposed, characterized by low self-esteem, sexual inhibition, transgressive behavior, overeating, having a conscience. Being self-conscious. Wow. And so with this empty room, I feel like there's this void that has been created as a result of any shame, any feelings of worthiness, rejection that we've been carrying around. And it's created like this black hole in our heart. What I think is beautiful about this, with this black room, with being in the dark and exploring what that looks like, there's nothing but room for light to come in and space to create like a void. Could be seen as like a clearing. So it's like, this void has been created, and oftentimes when there is a void, and that's how I'm viewing it, we're going to look at the, definition of the card, because this is a new deck, but the way I'm viewing this as, when there is a void, this empty space, we might, the tendency might be to want to fill it up. And a lot of the times when we're carrying feelings of shame, low self-esteem, then we tend to do things like overeat, like overachieve, like overcompensate in some way because we feel like we've been rejected or not wanted, like we're not worth much of anything. So being mindful that, when you're showing up in life, that this energy is playing in the background and it's, dictating to a lot of your reactions, your responses, the way you view things and the way you feel about things. That in itself is a powerful revelation, to be able to start to see your life from this perspective, right? Like really having your eyes open to that. And maybe this is something that you already know, but are like, okay, I just need some more guidance around how to deal with it. So hopefully these messages will assist with that. And so the empty room says that it's something that haunts us all. It is the universal and all too frequent feeling of lack, of wanting, of the craving to fill ourselves with something, anything. We too often attempt to remedy the discomfort of the empty room by any means necessary, leading us to a culture of more Oh yeah, the whole thing, the illusion of more, better, different, of change, change, which is just the overlay of shame, feeling like something is not right, feeling like we're not right, right? And it says the empty room. Oh yes, I love this. I was spot on with this. It says the empty room is filled to the brim with potential, yet we perceive it as not enough. This card is a cry for patience, for sitting with the barren walls of not knowing, for awaiting true vision and purpose before attaching to what we should do next to save our outward appearance. Be with the nothingness. Be with the impatience. Be with the shame. Be with the feelings of lack. Be with the feelings of not enough, right? And be with whatever that brings up. So it says the empty room has immense power. Let others wonder what you are doing. If you can settle into the magic of emptiness, you will soon hear its whispers of wisdom. I love that, right? So this card can also be portrayed as the hungry ghost, which is always wanting to eat more, and never feeling satisfied. And underneath that, if you've been wondering, like, God, why am I never satisfied? Why, as soon as I achieve one thing, I just feel like I got to do more, like it's never enough. Like it's never enough. And maybe this is something people actually say to you. You're never satisfied. You're never happy. I'm not enough. Like I can never do enough to please you. Then this could be at the heart of some of that. Dealing with your own shame, your own pain, blame, guilt, all of that stuff is wrapped into that. So I think I want to use, now I know that I want to use the Intuitive Tarot to clarify for this. This is also a brand new deck I got when I was in London a couple of months ago. I got it at the infamous Watkins bookstore, which whenever I am in London, I make a point to stop by that place. It's just one of my favorite metaphysical bookstore shops. If you're ever in the London area, make sure you get by there. They do readings. They have every single book and tarot card deck under the sun. It's just a good space. And so when I was there, I picked up this Intuitive Tarot by Celia Conway, who's a beautiful lady who runs this Facebook group around this deck, and she has a really interesting story about how she put this deck together, how she came to be inspired to do it. And so I've been wanting to incorporate it in more of my readings, and this seems like a good time. All right, so what's behind this, this lack, this energy of lack that's been driving this narrative in your life? Okay, Ten of Cups. Not feeling like, feeling like you haven't gotten yours. Feeling like, like a lot of the times as kids, we've been, because, don't get it twisted, like all of this stuff is more than likely rooted back to the past, dating back as, far back as our childhood. But a lot of the times as kids, like what I'm getting is there's been this disappointment. Let me start there. There's been this disappointment, this feeling that something is not the way that it's supposed to be, right? And a lot of the times what that can be connected to is growing up, we're given this ideal of what life is supposed to be like. And then we get busy trying to become whoever it is we feel we're supposed to become and do the things that we're supposed to do to have that ideal fulfilled. With the Ten of Cups, this is all about like, the perfect life, the perfect family, the perfect job, the perfect mate, the husband, wife, 3.2 kids in the house with the picket fence. It's about things going well and being good. And that not happening, there could be, or when that doesn't happen, or when some part of that doesn't happen, it's like there's this void. And so let's look at, the energy that creates. Yeah, it's like, it's like this wanting of our piece of the pie, this wanting of abundance, right? This wanting of being, this desire to be fulfilled in some way and really wanting to have more. But, what we have to get to is that no matter how much stuff we acquire, no matter, whether we get the partner, get the marriage, get the kids, get the house, get the cars, get all of that, none of that is enough to fill this void within, right? That has to be filled up first, right? And intuitively, you know that. Here we have High Priestess. Intuitively, you know that. And that's why it's been so hurtful. It's been hurtful. It's been painful. Shame does not feel good. And even if we've been in denial around, identifying it as shame, it's still not a pleasant feeling. It's not a pleasant emotion. It's like you're wanting 10 of Cups and blossoming abundance, and you may have those things in a material sense, but there's still this feeling of something missing. And every time you get a little piece, a little more of what you want, it's still not enough. Yep. And that's because you're wanting to tap into something bigger. This is 7th chakra, crown chakra, Archangel Uriel, with this coming out. An invitation to work with the archangels, particularly Uriel, to heal this, but tuning into, what it is that's really underneath this desire for more, this desire of fulfillment. There's something bigger than what you've been telling yourself, right? And in order to figure out what that is, there's this need to connect with the spiritual side of yourself, not the material side. Material side is important, but crown chakra is all about connecting with your intuition, connecting with the divine, and connecting with spirit. And that may be something that you're running from at this time because, it may be that there's some healing that you need to do, and that's going to come up through that spiritual process, right? Yep. Yeah, it's like it's too much to think about. 5 of Swords. It's too much to think about. It's too painful. It's too much. It may be connected to some really bad memories. But it's driving the conversation. And so what you want to look at is, some of the best ways to get beyond that. And let's see what Spirit says, can help you with this. And if you chose number 2, either this is resonating or not, because you can't have this going on and be in total 100% denial about it. Like most people who have this kind of conversation going on, they show up as, really overconfident, big personality. It's almost like they're overcompensating for something, or they're on the totally opposite end of the spectrum, like, very introverted, quiet, but deep down inside full of this like burning desire, rage, to achieve, to move forward, to move ahead, to grasp something, to gain, to fill up. Yep, listening with the heart. Yeah, and so you may have been approaching this from a mental perspective, and that's a lot of the times that's where we create when we're trying to, fill up, achieve more, get more, change, get more, better, different, versus listening with our heart, right? To tune into the divine, you really have to start listening to your heart to come out of this conflicting energy, right? Because the mind will have you like, back and forth, not sure, in doubt. But when you listen with your heart, when you're thinking from your heart space, there's always a deep knowing, high priestess, right? And really being able to let go and just be free, right? Being not being afraid to expand, right? To expand beyond yourself in a way that you've never known before. And standing firm through the process, no matter how scary it may seem, being willing to, conjure up the inner strength to do the work. To do the work and expand yourself, right? Because once you tune in, once you tap in, you're going to gain an access to freedom in a way that you've never experienced before. And I promise you won't turn back. But you gotta open the door. Well, first you gotta close the door on seeing this as like some kind of void you gotta fill up, and instead seeing it as a clearing, as a space, right? In a clearing, in a space, you can actually, there's room to fly. There's room to be free. But, in an empty room, you're kind of just trapped and feeling like, man, I need to put some furniture in here. I'm going to pull one healing message for you, and then we'll end the reading. Yep. Boom. There it is. Whoop. There it is. Whoop. There it is. I'm sorry. I just love when Spirit speaks and clearly. And I mean, they're speaking all this stuff, trying to accumulate outside, achieve outside, create the perfect life, perfect family, perfect job, perfect wealth, all of that. That ain't it. What you are seeking, honey dear boo-boo, is inside. That is the only place you will find it. It is not anywhere outside of you. But I promise you that once you begin the journey of connecting and going within and seeking the answers from within, then all that other stuff you are wanting and craving will fall right into place. So the message of this card is, unfortunately, many people don't have much awareness of their spiritual selves. So they spend a lot of time, oh my God, I'm about to pass out. So they spend a lot of time trying to fill a what? An inexplicable void within themselves by seeking power, money, and material success. But the answer does not lie outside ourselves. It is internal, not external. And it is the essence within us all. The wise, loving, powerful, and creative inner core of our being that some call the higher or inner self. Drops the mic. That's number 2, you guys. I hope that resonated. I hope you got something out of that. Man, that was deep. That was deep. I would love to hear what that was for you. Drop a comment. Make sure you hit the like button so I know you were here and you loved it. And hit that subscribe button too so that we can continue connecting in this way. As I bring messages, you'll get notifications about them. But man, sit with this for a minute. Like don't just click off of this and go on to the next thing. There is something here for you to be with. So be with it. All right. Now, if that did not resonate with you, if you're like, that was not anything that's going on in my life right now, still maybe something to consider. But there's a number 1 message that you can rewind back to, or you can also listen to number 3, which is coming right up. All right. Number 3. Wow. Number 2 was so powerful that I just wanted to ring the bell, clear the energies, to ground me here with number 3. And I'm sorry, guys, if my camera is shaking. I started off the day doing live readings with clients, and I use a it's not a tripod, but it's a thing I connect to that attaches to my desk that allows my camera to kind of prop up. And I'm using that because after I did those readings, I don't know, got the inspiration to do some YouTube videos and did not go outside to my car to get my standing tripod, which creates still video. So if, it is a little bit shaky, more so than usual, I apologize. But yeah, number 2 is powerful. If you in any way felt like, maybe there might be something in number 2 for me after you listen to this, I definitely suggest you go back. Now, for those of you who chose number 3, let's see what the energies are that are playing out in the background, in your subconscious, that are driving things in the conscious realm for you, and you may not even know about it. Ooh, the storm. And for each one, I pulled a therapy flashcard to give us just a little more context around the archetypal card, the storm. That's like tower energy to me. That's like something major, disruptive, unexpected, big coming through, like a bolt of lightning comes through and just crashes down, cracks down, and tears some shit up. Right? And then after the storm has passed, we're left to pick up the pieces, clean up the rubble, pick through the rubble, and that whole process can make us feel alone, isolated, like no one understands what we're going through, alienated. So let's see what this card says. So this card says that, it defines alienation as the sensation of estrangement or separation from others, of not belonging in groups, of being different or misunderstood. It's characterized by sadness, depression, pouting, bad music, military or all black wardrobe, lip or attitude, rule breaking, social isolation, relocation to large cities or remote shacks, shoulder chips, chip on the shoulder, separation from real or deeper self. So there may have been something that happened in your life that, that separated you from someone you loved, or separated you from a place that you felt, it's some sort of separation happened, right? Some sort of incident that created a separation of some sort in your life. And so to get some more clarity around that, I'm going to use my Rider-Waite tarot deck, because this conversation is driving a lot of how you're seeing the world right now. This conversation is at the forefront when you're making decisions about who to be, where to be, who to be with, what to do, who to do it with, like all that kind of stuff. How to respond, how to show up, how to not show up, like all of that. And if you're feeling alienated in some way, that to me suggests that you're not doing much showing up, which could be a problem. So let's see what the tarot has to say about it. So we have Nine of Cups coming out in reverse, King of Pentacles coming out in reverse, and the Knight of Wands. And I'm going to turn these over because I do not do reversals, and I have the deck turned upside down. Yeah. So I'm having the tingling sensation that this King of Pentacles is represented to a masculine energy in your life, possibly a husband, father, uncle, brother, someone who was a provider for you. I'm thinking because of this Knight of Wands, I know it's definitely someone that you care deeply for. cared deeply for, and there was some sort of separation. Like this person made you feel fulfilled. This person filled you up, and being with them was like the adventure of a lifetime. And the breakup, the separation, the storm that came through and shook things up has left an indelible scar on your spirit. That's what I'm getting from that. Whew. I just want to figure out what I want to clarify that with. Okay, yeah, I'm going to use the Angels, God and Goddesses deck to see what else comes out about this situation, because that's heavy for me. That's feeling like, this is definitely some kind of connection here. The breakup of some connection. Yeah, God of reflection. So this is someone who mirrored back to you so many good qualities that you have within you. Like you saw something good in them and they reflected that back to you. But they also reflected some things that were not so positive. I'm picking up. But you guys were close. Look at this. Goddess of oneness, right? And you may be feeling like this person has totally forgotten about you, like you're not even on their radar anymore. You guys have been separated and now you're just kind of out, on your own. But what I'm getting is the same thing that you're feeling, they're feeling too, which is why we have this mirroring energy. And so maybe that offers you some kind of comfort or, healing, just in knowing that, this person is feeling the same way you are. Like this Goddess of Oneness card says, someone you love is thinking fondly of you at the moment. And then with the God of Reflections, the qualities that you see in others are simply your own reflection. So you've been hurt in this separation. You've been really torn apart by it. And what I'm seeing is maybe it's possible that they have been feeling the same way. If nothing else, they are definitely like they haven't forgotten about you. So, this feeling of being alienated, alone, rejected, feeling like, like this person isn't even, didn't care about you, it's not even thinking about you, you're all alone. That's an illusion from what I see right now. Like that's not the case. So because this is obviously a deep connection, or we're talking about a deep connection, and this is, just to bring it back into context, like this separation has been driving much of your life at this point. So maybe you've been depressed, maybe you've been feeling really lonely, maybe you haven't really been wanting to go out and do things, or and maybe if you are doing those things, you just haven't been able to get this person out of your mind, and deep down inside you do feel alone and somewhat lost without them. See what this has actually looked like in your life. Like, how is this showing up in your real everyday 3D life? Yeah, 7 of Wands, you're on the defense. Not sure who to trust, not sure who to, who's cool, who's not cool. You got your guard up. Definitely feeling like you have to protect yourself at times, which when we are feeling alienated, that's natural. We're carrying around this chip on our shoulder, right? We're disconnected from our authentic self because we have put this guard up, which puts us into being, It prevents us from being our real, like who we truly are. We can't show who we really are if we're busy protecting ourselves. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. Like, this is who you really are, but because you're on this, and look at that, the Queen of Pentacles, right? Oh my God, right underneath the Queen of Pentacles. This was a heavy-duty relationship. I'm picking up on definitely soulmate energy. Yeah, like what I'm hearing is either like even if it, I mean, you lost a loved one, you know, I'm feeling like this, you know, could have potentially been a romantic connection, but I mean, you could have had this close connection with, you know, someone else, a relative, but however you lost them, whether they transitioned or they just, you know, however they transitioned out of your life, it was a painful loss, and it's put you, you know, out of alignment with who you really are, which is the Queen of Pentacles, which is this nurturing, you know, this goddess of oneness energy, of being connected with other people. It's totally disconnected that. And so, you know, it's like you've been in this self-made prison, like behind walls. You've put these walls up and you feel like, you know, like you can't break out of it. You know, it's become like a really heavy weight, right? It's been just a heavy weight on your shoulders that you're tired of carrying. I want to pull from, I want to pull from my Nature's Whispers deck, just to see what comes out about this. I'm feeling this is like really heavy emotion. Yeah, so you're looking for a way out. You're looking for a way to try to fix this. Maybe you're wanting to bring this back together in some way, ideal course of action, or just figure out your own healing around it. But to me, with the Celebrate Differences card coming out alongside ideal course of action, what I'm getting is you're looking for a way to reconnect with this individual, which would mean being able to just, you know, celebrate each other for who you really are, whoever you are. You know, maybe there were some differences between you that seemed like, you know, it just couldn't be like it was irreconcilable, but it's not. It's not. And so finding a way to get to that perspective, to where you're able to, you know, just accept each other for who you really are, who you each are. But it's created a lot of what I'm sensing is heavy emotion in your heart, and making it almost difficult to really cope and to really like see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yep. Oh my God, look what just came out. So I'm pulling from the Mixed Emotions deck by the Fire Witch Tarot. Look, we got hopeless. So yeah, you've been feeling really hopeless about this, feeling like there's no way things could work out. However things ended, there's no get back. But what I'm sensing is there is, but it would require coming to grips with, you can't change another person. You can't change another person, and they can't change you. You know, true love is really being able to accept people exactly as they are. You know, not accepting mistreatment or bad treatment, but being willing to be with an individual right at their level of consciousness at any given moment of time. All right, so let's see what else comes out. Jaded, yeah. See, that's that alienated energy really having to get this chip that, you know, off your shoulder, feeling like you've been done wrong, right? You have to release that. That's part of the reason why it feels hopeless, because you may not even feel like you can move past it, like whatever happened may have been so hurtful. Yeah, closed-minded. You're going to have to change the perspective, open up. You're going to have to open up and choose to see things from another perspective, because the way that you're approaching it right now, it's only hurting you. It's only hurting you. I mean, this other person, from what we've seen, yes, they're thinking about you, and yeah, they're likely hurting too. But what they're feeling is really of no consequence when it comes to your own healing and getting to a place where you can come out of, you know, this storm energy driving your life, your narrative, your energy at this time. Okay. I'm interested to know, though, like, what may have even created this? Like, I definitely didn't sign up to do like a full reading just for number 3, but I mean, it's so interesting. So let's see. I'm gonna pull a few cards from, no, I was about to pull from my Twin Flame Soulmate Trigger stack, but I'm gonna pull instead. I know. From The Romance Angels by Doreen Virtue. Because whether or not this is like a even though I really feel like this is a romantic love connection. I do. We have the King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, which to me represent like divine masculine and feminine. So I really want to see like what happened in this connection. Like, what happened? What drove these two people apart in a way that, you know, we have this energy of feeling hopeless and jaded, like things could never be different. Okay, so we got make the effort, playfulness, and unrequited love. Okay, so in the connection, one of you, both of you, definitely one of you were feeling like someone wasn't being serious, like someone wasn't really putting in the work, like there were games being played, like someone was playing with your heart. Okay, and that hurt you. In fact, you know, it crippled you. It made you feel like the lowest of the low, rejected. And that has been very hurtful and painful to deal with, to the point that you just totally shut this person out, shut this person down, and are feeling like, hell no, no way will I ever allow anything like that to happen again. Like that's the narrative that I'm picking up on. So I'm going to pull from our Whispers of Love because, you know, I mean, my instinct is to see how your person is feeling about all of this. But I feel like, you know, based on what came out earlier with the God of Reflections and the Goddess of Oneness, you guys kind of feel the same. Like you thought they weren't serious and they kind of, in some way, shape, form, felt the same about you. Like they're walking around definitely feeling hurt too, which is what I'm picking up on. And you know what? Because I'm picking up on that, I'm just going to pull a card for their energy because my curiosity just won't stop. So I'm just going to do that before I go to the Whispers of Healing deck. Let's look at their energy. Their energy towards you. around what happened in the connection. Yeah. We got walking away. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Walking away, storm warning, envy. So, oh my God. So basically they felt like you just started, like, got all whacked out, started tripping, blew up, and walked away. And they're left like, what the F just happened? Let's see how they interpreted this. Oh my God. Look at that, guys. Storm warning. They're like, I didn't even see this coming. Right? And I mean, maybe they have their own, stuff they need to work on as to why they didn't see it coming. But I mean, that's how they feel, right? With this envy card, that's definitely like heavy attachment. That's feelings of jealousy, not being satisfied, all of that kind of stuff. Like something, and they may still be trying to figure it out. So let's see how they were interpreting that. Yeah, 5 of Cups, 4 of Cups, Ace of Cups. So they definitely see you as like they were really hurt. Let's just start there. They were really hurt. They felt a huge, devastating loss by this walking away. What I'm sensing is, there was some sort of effort to try and hold on, but with 4 of Cups, like in their minds, there was an effort of trying to hold on, but with 4 of Cups, like they really didn't try that hard, right? They missed out on the opportunity, and they're kind of bummed by it. They know, like, look at this Ace of Cups. Like they wanted to offer something, but they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it with this 4 of Cups energy. They were too focused on what was versus what could be, right? And that sent up some kind of red flag warning where you were feeling this sense of unrequited love and you walked away, like you got the hell up out of there. However things ended up playing out, it didn't feel good. But it didn't feel good to them either. It didn't feel good to them either. And what I'm sensing is some regret on their part. So I hope that's, helpful in some way in allowing you some closure and healing to really get clear around, around this energy. And I mean, they felt it coming. They felt it coming, but because they were in this 4 of Cups energy, it was like all they could do is just, sit and wait for the storm to pass, which it did. But the storm, passed, kept going, and man moved on to the next town or city, never looked back. Right? Okay. All right, good. So what's in the underneath all of this? What's in the underlying current here? What's in the air? Right? Because after a storm comes, clears the air. So what's left? So we have relationship patterns. Definitely need to look at what I'm getting is this is not your first rodeo. It's not theirs either. Like there's something, this has shown up for both of you on numerous occasions. And when it does, the way each of you reacted is probably how you always respond. But what Spirit is saying is choose love, right? You always have a choice, and you can make a choice with love. Doesn't look like the choice that was made to walk away, to split. Number one, it was based on this illusion of unrequited love, and on the realization that someone just was not in an energy to really step up and, offer a real cup of love in that moment. But, in the way that we see things in the aftermath, right, we still have to continue to see things through the lens of love. And we'll get one more. So receive with love, and appreciation. Gracious acceptance is a way to show love. So there may have been an imbalance here with giving and receiving. There may have also just been some difficulty with being able to truly open up and receive the love being offered to us. Maybe we weren't able to see it, right? Maybe now in hindsight, as we're dealing with the aftermath of the storm, we're starting to look back and recount things and see things as they really were and not as we just thought they were in the moment. And maybe, there really was love being offered, right? But we just were not able to see it at that time. So I'm going to end the reading with a Power of Love activation card and one Reiki healing card. This will serve as your advice to clear this up, clean it up. Yeah, empathy. Have a heart. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. Like being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, being able to understand their perspective, their side of things. Not always easy. But when we're able to do that, it opens us up to being able to have empathy and compassion with someone where we're at least, able to forgive whether or not we let them back in our lives, but forgive them in a way so that we're not stuck. Right? Because what I'm seeing now, you're stuck. Like you're stuck on this. This is driving the way that you're moving forward. And it's probably just not this person. This is something that has been playing out as a pattern. And so you want to break that pattern, right? And it takes strength, it takes courage, it takes compassion, it takes empathy for yourself and others to really do that. All right, last message. Okay. Oh, 2 came out. Wow. Okay. Whoa. Okay, so we got the truth about emotions and the answer is internal. So there's something you got to get clear about within yourself, right? It's like it's easy to blame another person. They did this, they did that, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. If they weren't like this, then this wouldn't have happened. If they wouldn't have said that, then I wouldn't have done this. Like all of that, right? But all of that anger, frustration, blame, all of that is really connected to something that's inside of you that you're not willing to see. See, when people show up in our lives and they trigger certain things, and then it's like these patterns start showing up. When we start experiencing the same thing over and over and over again in life, in relationships, that is a clear indicator that it is something inside of us, not the other person, that needs to be healed. Not that the other person doesn't have their own internal work to do. Certainly you guys came together to trigger and mirror each other in a way that you would teach each other lessons, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about you, what you need to be focused on. And for that, you can only go within. This card says, unfortunately, many people don't have much awareness of their spiritual selves, so they spend a lot of time trying to fill an inexplicable void. Oh my God, this is the card. I started this reading off by saying, go back to number 2. You definitely got to go back to number 2, number 3, because this is the card that came out as advice for number 2s. And that conversation for the number 2s could definitely be driving these patterns, right? Yes. So please, after you click off of this, go back and watch number 2. And that will help bring some sunshine in so you can get out of this storm. Okay. So this is about filling the void, right? This void we have for things outside of ourselves, right? And a lot of the times that shows up with wanting to be with other people, in relationships, and then feeling alienated when we're not. So, none of this though is nothing, like, no matter how much you seek outside of yourself, nothing lies outside. Everything is internal. It is the essence within us, all the wise, loving, powerful, and creative inner core of our being that some call the higher inner self, really getting connected. And to do that, you got to clear out these heavy emotions that you have. It says emotions result when feelings are filtered through your beliefs, when you develop judgments about what you should or should not be feeling. However, your emotions can guide you, but you don't have to let them control you. So what I'm saying is, you may be even, because you've been like basically in this shitstorm around this separation, to some degree alienating yourself from really taking a deep dive into looking at yourself in the connection, instead of focusing so much attention outward on what they did, what they didn't do, bringing it back to you really standing up and looking in the mirror. But to do that, you got to go within. All right. So that is the reading that I have for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. I hope that resonated for you. I definitely got a lot out of it and felt really good doing it. Go back and watch number 2 if you chose number 3, and give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought about the video, what insights, breakthroughs, whatever came up for you. Please share that in a positive way in the comments below, and hit the like, share, subscribe, or the like and subscribe button. That way I know you were here and you were loving it. And you'll also know when I put out more content and whatnot. You'll get an alert once you subscribe to the channel. All right, that was your reading, and I will talk to you guys again really, really soon. Peace.